Start transmission. 4, 3, 2, 1. Broadcasting to you live from the Static Clan compound, you are now listening to the Jaysin Static Experience, a podcast from an award-winning nobody, noted raconteur, renaissance man, a man with a sailor's mouth, but he has never sailed, and who likes to talk about a cornucopia of topics. This podcast is brought to you by www.jaysinstatic.com, a place filled with all your pop culture antiques and collectible needs. And now your host, the one and only Jaysin Static. All right, everybody, welcome back to episode whatever of the Jaysin Static already fucking up. The expatriates. What the fuck is expatriates, man?
Tune in to find out.
You retard. Jesus, expatriates. I don't know what the hell expatriates is.
Dude, we could make that a thing.
Yeah. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Jaysin Static here for the next episode of the Jaysin Static Experience podcast. And today's guest is a good friend of mine. I've known him for a little bit. Hip-hop recording artist, singer, all kinds of cool stuff. He was born in the city and raised on the shore, but never quite fitting in anywhere he goes, bringing insight and perspective, motivation and encouragement through tales of love, life, and journey, with introspective lyrics over a sea of thought-provoking music. Everybody, welcome my good friend, Junkie Dave.
Hey, what up, Jaysin Static? Junkie Dave.
What's up, man? What's up, man? How you doing? How's life? What's popping?
It's pretty good. This COVID is messing everything up, but other than that, you know what I mean?
It's messing everything up. Good. On that, since that's where we're gonna start out at, since you started out right there,
my bad.
It's cool, man. You know me, man. I'm all for speaking your mind and saying how you feel and whatnot, and 100% free speech around here, baby.
Hey,
but
just the way I like it. As
an artist, you know, having to go to studios and stuff like that if you don't have your own home studio. How has that affected that type of situation in your life of, you know, studio time, being able to process stuff and whatnot? Essentially working with your team type stuff.
Yeah. For me personally, I have an in-house studio, so if I really need to record something, you know what I mean, I could do everything in-house. So it hasn't affected that as much. But linking up with different people and vibing, it's different when you're in the studio vibing out with different artists or vibing out with the producer, you know what I mean? There's a certain energy that's in the atmosphere, and we haven't experienced that much lately, but sometimes, you know what I mean, we still get up. I don't think I'm in Maryland right now, and most of my friends are not really too worried about the virus.
Right.
We still pretty much have normal life. We get up with each other. We're dapping each other up, giving each other cool hugs. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
you do the old elbow thing?
Nah, we don't do none of that. We'll give each other a regular dap and just, you know how you pull somebody in for a hug?
Right.
We call it a cool hug. Right.
So essentially you haven't adapted to the instead of like the fist bump thing, you adapted to the elbow bop. That's what I call it.
I haven't done none of that. That's keep it regular.
That's what I call it.
The most I do is I carry a mask, so if I have to go into the store, that's about
right. It. I call it the elbow bop.
Yeah,
bop.
Elbow bop.
Yeah. Instead of the fist bump, it's the elbow bop.
That could be a dance right there. Do the elbow bop.
Do the elbow bop.
Elbow bop.
That would be a weird fucking dance to see just a bunch of people fucking like throwing elbows at each other.
Hey, I mean they had the chicken wing dance before, so might as well.
Yeah, it'd be like the old pro wrestlers, the bushwhackers.
Bushwhackers, yes.
It'd be like I think if you was to turn the elbow bop into a dance, it would essentially be like the bushwhacker.
Yeah,
bushwhacker dance.
The feature in the video.
Yeah. So, besides, do you have any new music coming out? How often do you record stuff? Do you just get in your little studio at home and just like, you know, write shit, spit shit all the time, or do you?
Nah, it's
how's that work? Sorry, I keep cutting you off. How's that work for a creative hip hop artist? Do you just do what you feel like, essentially?
Yeah, like different people have different methods. One of my close friends, he's a producer. He's trying to push me into writing more, and his process is he'll give himself a goal. He'll be like, you know what, I'm gonna make 10 beats by the end of the week. And I'm like, dude, I don't know how you could do that to yourself. He's like, nah, it's good. I'll come see him the next day. He's like, I banged out 2. He's like, I got 3 today. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
But for me, I go to this place mentally when I write in my creative process. So if my energy is feeling, it's like a high energy that I feel, and I'll have this want to listen to an instrumental or something, and I'll go listening through beats, and I'll just go skipping through it until one of them, speaks to me.
Right.
And then once I find that beat, then I just put it on and I just zone out. I go into my own world, and I create this space in my head that it's akin to like a lake, and there's nothing around. It's just a lake, and then the music becomes the waves.
Right. Yeah.
So if it's up tempo, then the waves will be boisterous. They'll be rough. You know what I mean? If it's smooth, then the waves will be calm. And I just get on that and I ride that wave, and I just listen to it until it tells me what it wants me to sing about or what it wants me to rap about.
Okay.
I'll start writing.
That makes a lot of sense to me. That's actually kind of how I if you've been a follower of mine,
I have.
A follower of mine, of just anybody listening to this podcast, knows that I do like spoken word type stuff, and that's I gotta be in that mindset to be able to create some. I got a lot to talk about, but if I don't feel like talking, then I'm just like, I don't want to do it. Like I feel you, man. I can't just like. I don't have that luxury of being the creative that can just, snap my fingers and put out a video or a song or, a spoken word type thing. It's something that's really got to sit in with me. I've really got to be in that mood to want to be able to produce something like that. And sometimes that's not the best. It's not the best type of role that you want to be on, but if you're that type of creative, I mean, that's what you got to do to create your art and do your craft.
I call it my zone. That's what I call it. I'm like about to go in my zone. When I go in there, it's like a whole nother universe. Like nobody exists around there. I remember I was out on the balcony one time, and it was raining, and I was going through a beat, and then I just have this melody in my head, and I usually forget whatever I'm doing. I have a short-term memory thing. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, this sounds good. Let me record this on my phone before I forget it. So I hit record, and then I just started singing it. I ended up closing my eyes. I'm in my zone. And then right at the end, like I'm coming out of it, and I'm like, oh man, that was so fire. I wish I would have recorded it, because I was there for like 3 minutes just in the zone.
Right.
And I look down and my phone's on record. I'm like, oh, I did record it. Yes.
I've had cases like that where like my chill spot, like I like to walk, and I'll go out on walks in my town. And if you've ever seen me walk through town, like you'd probably be like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Because it always looks like I'm talking to somebody. You're probably
the earbuds. Get an earbud. Nobody would notice.
Yeah, you'd probably think if you seen me walking or he was passing me, you'd be like, "What the fuck? This guy's fucking crazy. He's literally talking to himself." Because I'll have conversations with myself about like I'll come up with I'll be like, I got to talk to Junkie Dave today. What am I going to talk about? And then I'll have a conversation with myself as the person that I'm having that I need to have the conversation with.
Yes, I do it too.
So like that's my chill spot. Is I get in that zone, I put my headphones on, and just listen to music as I'm doing that. So I'm listening to music, so I got a good bop when I walk.
Hey,
and
that diddy bop, diddy bop.
Yeah, I got a good bop when I walk and everything like that. So I get in a zone and I just kind of phase out, and it's just like one of those Tron tunnels from the movie Tron, where it's just
yep.
And like I only have my destination, and then when I get to the destination, I turn right back around and come right back to wherever I'm going, and then I have a conversation on the way back too. So I probably look like a deranged psycho, like a schizophrenic type guy walking down the street.
Yeah,
having conversations with myself.
I don't do mine so much in public, but
you
walk by the door, you might be like, "Who the hell is he talking to?"
Yeah,
there's nobody in there.
What the hell's wrong with this guy?
I'm like, "Come on, Junkie Dave, you got this. You know you can do it." I mess up when I'm recording. I talk to myself like that. Like, come on, Junkie Dave, you can do better than that. Come on now.
Yeah. So let's switch it up. Since I know people are going to be asking about the name, I should have started out with that, but hey. You live and you learn. Where did you get the name Junkie Dave? Why Junkie Dave? Give me a little brief of a history. I know that you have that history on your YouTube channel. Go check him out at Junkie Dave on YouTube. And he tells a story, but you're also going to be able to hear the story right here.
Right. All right. Well, the name Junkie Dave, originally I was a part of a group called the Well-Dressed Junkies, and we just started doing music together. I started engineering, and then one day they asked me if I wanted to get on a song. I got on a song, they liked it. Then about 3 songs in, they're like, "You trying to hop on this one?" I'm like, "Dude, if I hop on this one, we're gonna pretty much be a group. We got like 3 or 4 songs already."
Right.
They're like, "I'm cool with it." And then they looked at each other. They was like, "Yeah, I'm good." I was like, "All right, I'm not doing nothing. Let's do it." So a little time went by. We Well-Dressed Junkies. We don't have any solo names. And I'm like, we're going to need solo names. One day I'm in the studio and we're working on a song. And I like to be comical sometimes. Sometimes I'm serious. Sometimes I'm introspective. But on this song, I just wanted to play around. And I was like, "Hi, my name is David. I'm a junkie." But in the song, I talk about being a junkie for coffee, for comics, for music. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then when people came in, they all started laughing because the way that I used it, you know what I mean? One day I was coming to the studio, I knock on the door, and they're like, "Who is it?" And I'm like, "It's Junkie Dave." And they just started laughing on the other side. I was like, "Junkie Dave."
Okay.
So from that on, I was like, I liked the way that they responded to it. You know what I mean? They made them laugh.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Not everybody's going to react like that, but so I just kept going with it, and I was like, you know what? I've had a name before. I was part of a group. My name was C, and then I was into church, so I had a name, David Jr. 5020.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm not about to make another name. You know what I mean? So I just stuck with Junkie Dave. I was like, I'm gonna name myself Dave. I'll just be Junkie Dave for now. Yeah. And then the way that when I chose it because there's a play on judging a book by its cover. That's one thing I've been fond of, not to judge a book by its cover. You know what I mean? And I also use this diamond in the rough thing. You know what I mean? That's what my Junkie Gems is about. It's the diamond in the rough.
Right.
So I use that to show, like, the world might look at you a certain way. The world might look down on you, but you have value inside. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I put the name Junkie Dave on there because it has a negative connotation to it, but it always, everybody that sees my name, they end up saying, "Why would you name yourself Junkie Dave?" Yeah. And then after explaining the story, they're like, "Oh, I get it." It was like, I kind of like that. Yeah. And when they see me, they be like, "Junkie." I'm like, "Oh, now you want to call me Junkie Dave."
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of bad connotations in the world, and I think it's good to be able to flip those and try to make a good positive spin on it, and make people realize that don't look at things at face. Don't look at like you said, don't judge that book by its cover, because you never know what's in the actual book.
Right.
Yeah, there could be a lot better gems inside, so to speak.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I appreciate you trying to flip scripts like that. So do you have anything that you want to talk about?
About the content? We could talk about my content.
Yeah, about your content. What type of content, when we're talking about flipping the script and being introspective with lyrics and thought provoking and whatnot, and tales of love and life and journey and stuff like that. What type of, besides those, cutesy little buzzwords, I don't mean to knock you, but people see that and they're like,
you gotta have them. You gotta have them.
They're essentially buzzwords to try to grab people in. So,
right.
what is the type of content that you want to produce out for people to listen to, and stuff that essentially grab people?
Well, I consider myself pretty versatile. You know what I mean? I started off rapping. That's what I started off back in the day. But most people know me from singing. But I'm not a big fan of boxes, being put in a box. Like that really rubs me the wrong way. So I remember back in the day when I was with my singing group, Obvious, I wanted to rap on a song, and they're like, no, you can't rap on here. I'm like, why? Like, I'm good. I got skills. Like, why can't I rap on this song? They was like, you're a singing group. You got to sing. So that always bothered me. So when I have the freedom now, I don't want to be in a box. I'll rap. If I feel like rapping, I'll sing. If I feel like singing, I'll do this thing that I call srapping, where it's like a sing rap. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Kind of like a Chris Calico.
Something.
Because Chris Calico from Strange Music, Tech Nine's crew, he kind of goes from singing to rapping, and sometimes even his rapping, Junkie mugs. Even sometimes he like what you just said, the srapping, where it's kind of like he's actually singing, but he's actually rapping.
It's like rapping with a melody type.
Yeah. So I could see. I mean, I could see that. That'd be that type of thing.
It depends on the song. You know what I mean? Like my main goal is to reach people. You know what I mean? To reach people and help people through my music. I remember going through some tough times and putting on that radio, and a certain song would come on, and it'll let me know, like, damn, I'm not the only one going through this right now. You know what I mean? Somebody else went through it, and they got through it. They're better now.
Right.
So I can get through it. You know what I mean? I can use what they use to get through it, and I can add my own twist to it. So I want to reach out and help people. That's always part of my mission, is to reach out and help people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No matter, ever since I started music, I've always talked about my life, my struggles, my good times. I just keep it all about life. Good times, bad times. When I'm up, when I'm down, I talk about me when I was going through depression. I talk about drugs. I dabbled, you know what I mean?
Right.
I dabbled a little bit with the opioids because of body pain that I go through. Had a little chronic, I still do, chronic body pain, but I haven't had any of that in a while. But
right.
You know what I mean? There's a lot inside of my music, and I just want to reach people and help people, let them know that it's gonna be okay, that they're not alone. You know what I mean? So got all type love music. I got my singles is Junkie for You.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's
you get on your Usher tip.
Yeah. And I have Off of My Chest. That one's
that's a pretty dope track. I listened to that the other night.
Thank you. Yeah. First verse is talking about my daughter and her mom, you know what I mean? And how it's affected all of our lives, but mainly my daughter's life.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? It gets personal there. The second verse, I talk about like a lot of people, they don't really interact with me the way people might think, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I talk about, a lot of people, you see a lot of rappers that die, and after they die, everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, this
I
person."
loved him. I loved him.
Yeah, but she wasn't there before they died. You know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So,
I think that's part of the society that we live in today. Hell, the society that we've always lived in. You know, who said it? I'm wanting to say it was in a Machine Gun Kelly song. I might be wrong, but I've been listening to a bunch of his music lately. He said something about you might, I don't remember exactly the words that he said, so I'm paraphrasing here. He said something along the lines of you know, the world's always hated me, but as soon as I'm gone, everybody's going to love me.
yeah.
And I think that's in general, no matter the scope of whether it's in music, podcasting, pro wrestling, hell, even politics, you know, like I remember, was it last year, maybe a year or two ago, John McCain died. John McCain died. Everybody hated John McCain from all sides. But as soon as he died, everybody was just like, he was a legend. You know, he was a great man. And it's just like, what? Yeah, what? Like, no, the guy was a piece of shit. The guy was a piece of shit. Yeah, the guy was a piece of shit. Okay, like, you know, like I wish more people would keep that same energy. You know, no matter what happens.
You know what I mean? When you're scared of the mob, you just do whatever you got to do to stay out the way of the mob. You'd rather be on the side of the mob. That's not me. So, you know what I mean? That's,
I'll use him the McCain thing as an example. I'm no, you know, everybody, you know me, you've known me long enough. I'm a pretty akin to politics and stuff like that. So I like to talk about it. And I remember whenever he passed away and people were like, people from all sides of the aisle, they were like, oh, you know, he was such a good guy, and da-da-da, you know, I wish he wasn't dead, and it's sad. And I'm just like, yeah, maybe it's sad that he died for his family. You know, his family's sad that he died and everything. I can understand that, but the guy was like a real dick bag. you know, like, so I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, you know, like, you know, the guy was a warmongering dickbag, you know, like, did he cry for the millions and millions of people that are, you know, hundreds of thousands of people? No, like, he didn't care. So why should I care about him? I don't know. And I don't know him. So like, I'm going to say, nah, the guy was a dickbag. And I remember people coming at my head when I said that, like, I was getting shots from all sides. Like, how dare you? How dare? I'm like, nah, man, just, I say how I feel, you know, and
right. And,
you know, and that's just my mindset, you know, like I'm always ready for that, for that confrontation, because I think what people need in society nowadays, they need to have that type of, people need to start speaking their mind and speaking how they feel, no matter what it is. I think overall, it might be rough waters in the beginning, you know, because, you know, you're going to have some people fall off.
Yeah.
You're going to have some people fall off. And trust me, I've had tons and tons of people fall off from, I lose friends and family and followers all day long, you know, because of things I say. And what I've come to realize is your hardcore ride or dies, they're going to ride or die with you no matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
If somebody's really feeling you and feeling your mindset and your drive and your goal in life, they're going to ride with you no matter what you do or say. To the point, to a certain point, like, you can't just like randomly like go out and kill somebody, or, you know, do something heinous, you know, like, you know, physically hurt a woman or something like that. You know, there's some cases where people are going to fall off because of that. But if you're just speaking your mind and you're saying how you feel,
I mean, there's some people that'll still ride.
Yeah.
There's a couple. Yeah. Like, yeah, forget that girl. She deserved it. Be like, wait.
Yeah, I'll take that back. Yeah, there is definitely some people that will ride with you no matter what. But I think it's a lot. I think we'd see a lot better place in society especially in our society, in American society, I think we'd see a lot change in the mindsets of people. And I think the biggest problem that we have today in society is getting people to realize that just because you think one way or you act one way or you look one way, that you're not actually a bad person because you do that or you think that way.
Yes. That's what I'm on. I'm on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's why I love stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedy, there are heroes right now because they're standing up for free speech. They're getting, shut down some places. Some people are, trying to cancel them with the whole cancel culture thing. And then the stars that got big enough power, they stand up, like Dave Chappelle when he did that Sticks and Stones special.
Oh yeah,
I loved it. I loved it, man.
Yeah, it was that definitely was a good special. But me being that type of person, I was just like, it was good, but like, this is stuff that all these little guys have been saying this for years and years. But it did take somebody on the level of, Dave Chappelle, of that caliber to get people to see it on a bigger picture. But I mean, overall, the cancel culture is, essentially even stronger than ever. So I think what, and that's one of the reasons why I say, people just need to start speaking how they feel, because, if Dave Chappelle comes out and he says it one time or on one special and then you don't ever hear from him again, then you're kind of like, in my opinion, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot because you're not keeping it going. You're not out there on the streets essentially being like, hey, this is wrong. We shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah. But I wanted it because we needed that. We needed somebody big that was willing to stand up to the hit because he could take that hit.
Yeah.
Not many people take that hit and have a successful career afterwards. So
yeah,
I was, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a good special though.
And then Ricky Gervais. Oh my God.
Yeah, the Ricky Gervais thing. Yeah, that was a good one. I
was like, that's the reason I watched it. I didn't even watch the whole thing. I saw the YouTube clips.
Yeah, the Epstein line was pretty good. The Epstein line was. I wish they would have did a better slow pan, as because they did a couple of quick cuts, quick pans to the crowd, but it was over as soon as it was said, and it was just like, man. I wish it would have did like a slow pan.
That cameraman wasn't trying to get fired.
Yeah, just a slow pan. Like, come on, cameraman. What's wrong with you?
I'll give you these quick ones. That's it.
Yeah, I'm going to give you guys these quick ones, but we can't do the slow pan right now because I guarantee you a lot of those people's mouths were like, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Nobody's supposed to know.
You're not supposed to know that, we all run in the same circles,
We know this.
Yeah, that's like society knows it,
right?
That's why I think like the hiding shit. So they're like, oh, I didn't know Jeffrey Epstein at all. I'm like, nah, bro, you did know him. Like you hung out at his parties and shit like that, and you rolled with him. It's like the whole the Harvey Weinstein thing, like. Oh, I had no idea he was doing. No, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did, dude. You knew exactly what he was up to.
I didn't even know who he was, and I knew what he was doing.
Yeah, like
there's a creep, definitely.
Yeah, well, that's something I told people when all that shit was popping off. I was like, everybody's known that what's going on out in Hollywood. Everybody's known. I've known it since I was a kid. I'm 38. I was like,
they even put it in the movies. They put it in the movie. I slept your way to the top and all this.
Yeah, crap. Like they give you hints. I was talking to somebody a couple weeks ago, and they were kind of clowning on me, about the whole secret society type stuff. And I'm like, it's not a secret anymore. Right. It's blatant and it's right there in front of your face. You just got to be willing to take that information in. A lot of people, when they see that type of information, they get scared and they don't want to confront it. But if you confront it, then you're like, okay. The veil, essentially the proverbial man behind the curtain, old Wizard of Oz type thing. You'll see the proverbial writing on the wall as soon as you lift that curtain up.
Yeah, but ignorance is bliss. They rather see the wizard.
Yeah, I guess the wizard's a lot cooler. I mean, as long as we don't have to see it, you keep it over there in the corner. Just keep it behind that curtain over there. I don't want to listen. I don't want to. I think that's another good thing that we need to change about society. We need to start pulling that veil down. And I've said it 100 times on my shows, and hell, even on my social media. You got to pull the veil down off of things, and you got to say it, because I mean, what do we got other than that? We can keep the mask on, or we can pull it off and be like, hey, this is what it is, guys. Check it out.
There's people getting hurt behind this stuff, and you just not doing nothing about it.
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean, yeah, people getting hurt. No matter what's behind that veil, no matter what the level is, like, there's always somebody getting hurt. And, would you rather, me personally, I would rather speak up and talk shit and say stuff and take those hits and take those people, you're a fucking monster, or, you're an asshole. I'd rather take those little blows and people not liking me than to not essentially speak my truth. Right. I think, I don't know. That's one thing that I always say is, I got to speak my truth. If I feel like I got to say something, I got to say it, and I'll deal with the repercussions later.
Yeah, I do mine when I first started that waking up process, not the woke process. The woke process is different. The woke process is what I call sleepwalking. Yeah, you're up, but you're still asleep. You know what I mean? So I'm the waking up.
You got the sleep in your eyes still, the little eye crusties.
Yeah. So when I started my waking up process, you know what I mean? You get excited because you just got all this new information, and you just want to tell everybody, and you're like, no, you have the wrong information. You got to look at this and this and this and this and this. But society's not ready for that. You know what I mean? They're not ready to just be woken up like that. And that's why I call it sleepwalking, because when somebody's sleepwalking, you're not supposed to wake them up. You know what I mean? You could startle them.
Right.
Freak out.
You could end up getting punched.
Yeah. So I'm like, they're claiming they're woke, but they're really sleepwalking. So I'm not going to just give them all this information. If they come to me personally, I'll have a one-on-one conversation with them. Yeah. And slowly guide them. But other than that, I just leave it alone now. I used to be on Facebook going at it with people that I don't even know.
I still do. I still do. You probably see it.
I'm like, Junkie Dave took way too much of a hit on this, so I'm gonna just stay off of it.
Well, I mean, like I said a while ago, like, I'm so far down the train, like I'm almost to the caboose, so I can't turn back now. Like I made my lane. I carved out my lane, and if I feel now, like, if I go back and just step to the side, that I'm kneecapping everything that I've ever said.
Right.
Because I've always said, speak your mind, say how you feel, da-da-da. So now if I go back on all of that, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to speak on that.
Right. I'll speak on it, but in certain situations.
Yeah. There is certain things that I won't speak on just because I don't know enough about it, or I just don't really care about it.
Right.
Or there's certain things and certain situations and cases where I won't be as abrasive, essentially. Where I'll mind I'll mind my P's and Q's a little bit better. Because I understand that it's a little bit more delicate of a situation.
Yeah.
And I'll think a lot better and more mindful of other people's situations and stories and stuff like that, because that's another thing that you got to do. You can't just be, you can't, when you're talking to people about certain situations, whether it be politics, religion, or, even, cancel culture, or, police brutality or anything like that. Like, there's all of those different little areas. They all take a different. You got to take a different approach to them. You can't just go pedal to the metal. Let it all out. You gotta be, especially depending on the person and where they're from, the type of life that they've lived. You've got to really kind of like dial in, and you got to look at it from other people's perspectives, because my perspective might not be your perspective. So you've got to kind of like do a little bit of weaving in and out of the traffic, or the minefield, whichever one you want to call it. Both.
Traffic,
minefields. Yeah, it's minefield and traffic. It's a dangerous situation when you're talking to people, because some of the situations in life that we face are pretty delicate situations, and like I said, that's one of the big reasons we have some of the issues that we have in our society today, is because some people they just ram it through. Some people, they try to weave in and out of the minefield. And then some people just don't want to hear it at all. And, they call it, and I think people just need to be mindful. You can still speak your mind and say how you feel, but you got to be mindful of certain situations. And, cause I mean, some people feel some type of way about some type of things. Hell, I'm that way about wrestling. Like people start talking smack about pro wrestling and shit like that. Being a pro wrestler, like I get some type of way. Like my triggers start clicking, and it's just like, whoa, no, hold up, bro. Like, no, you're not right here. So.
Yeah, I used to be big into wrestling, but after the Attitude Era, I just fell out. I fell out of it.
I mean, I wouldn't say that, like, I'm not, like, I don't watch it every day. There's so much stuff on wrestling. You got, WWE, they do like 30 hours a week of wrestling, like on multiple different shows. And then you got indie wrestling, you got, smaller companies, you got bigger companies, you got medium companies, you got AEW. There's so many damn wrestling companies out now that it's like, to me, it's overloaded and flooded.
Yeah.
Like I can't watch everything that I see or hear, like, so now what I do is, instead of like sitting down for 3 hours on a Monday and watching wrestling, I'm like, okay, well, I want to follow this guy.
Right,
I want to follow this guy's story, so I'm going to follow this guy's story, but I'm not going to pay attention to the rest of the story.
Yeah,
and that's worked for me now, because I mean, it helps me not get overloaded with so much crap, or if somebody's just like, hey, Jaysin, check this out. What do you think about this? And then I'll watch that. Right. But other than that, I don't watch it like religiously. I don't sit there through the whole 3 hours, 2 hours, however long the show is, and watch it. I just can't. I don't have the time, and I already do so much stuff as it is. Like sitting down for 3 hours out of a day, unless I'm doing a podcast or a live stream or something like that. Sitting 3 hours out of a day is kind of hard for me to do, because I got so much stuff to do already.
Right.
What type of what's your current catalog look like? A catalog of music? Do you have stuff in the pipeline coming out? Do you have like an actual album, or you just put out singles and whatnot?
Well, I'm just putting out singles for right now.
Yeah.
On mostly every music platform service, I have 3 singles that are officially out. Off of my chest, there's a song called Phases with one of the members from Well Dressed Junkies, Thump, and Junkie For You. It's like the first one is rap, the second one is that rapping, is like singing, rapping, and then the third one is more R&B.
Okay.
And I have a new single coming out pretty soon. I'm just doing the little behind the scenes stuff for it, and that one's called Free. There's little clips on my Instagram of part of the song. You know what I mean?
Junkie Dave on Instagram. Everybody, go check him out.
Right. And then on SoundCloud, I have those 3. I have Off of My Chest, Phases, Junkie for You. I have them available to stream for free on there. Because I know how it is sometimes you don't got the extra money to pay for a subscription or to pay for the song or whatever. So I have it available to stream for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I have a playlist on there with the Well Dressed Junkie songs that I'm on. And I have some, I don't want to call them throwaways, but like verses and stuff that I didn't get to complete.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know where the beat is, so there's no way I can complete that song. So I'll throw those on there so you can hear like different stuff.
Okay.
I mean,
do you do any like hard copies?
Oh no, not yet.
Have you thought about doing any hard copy type stuff, like, you know, CDs or actual like records or anything like that?
Now, I thought about it when I first started. Before I came with the my first single, I was thinking about it, and then I was like, "There's not too many people buying CDs nowadays. I mean, it's easier,
yeah,
I guess, but CDs get scratched and people misplace them. Most people listen to the music on their phone.
Yeah, I know there's a handful of artists out there that are still you know, pushing the record, pushing the record and CD game. Jelly Roll. I don't know if you know who Jelly Roll is.
I definitely heard of him though.
He's an artist from Tennessee, rapper. He kind of does the rapping and singing stuff too. So you should check him out. He's definitely pretty dope artist. But he's on the he does CDs still.
Yeah, I think I did. He got a song about his daughter too, don't he?
Yeah. He has a song with his daughter.
Yeah.
His daughter's rapping on the. He's got a 13-year-old daughter, and she went off on the track.
Hey.
So, you know, like I think you got to have a pretty big base behind you. You know, a good supporting, you know, fandom to be able to even push the CD type game, because, you know, like you said, you know, a lot of people don't have CDs. I'll tell you what, man, that's the first time I bought a CD. I bought Jelly Roll's new album, Beautiful Disaster.
Oh yeah.
And as the first CD that I bought in probably, I would say, close to 20 years.
Damn. Yeah, I don't remember the last time I bought a CD.
I would say it was early 2000s whenever I bought the last CD that I bought. I don't even remember what it was, but I'll tell you that album is a fucking killer
I think
album.
the last CD I actually bought was my own. Back in 2004, we had my group Obvious. We had the album out. It was officially on a CD. You had the whole cover and all that.
Yeah,
I bought one copy. Just, you know, you got to support yourself.
Yeah. So you've actually been you've been in this game for a long time.
Yeah, but I had restarts which set me back.
Restarts, I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, because the Obvious thing didn't work out. I went by the name C. My best friend that was in the group, he was the glue to the group. He passed away. So after he passed, you know what I mean? It took me like a year to write a whole song. Like he was my best friend, my brother.
Rest in peace, man.
Yeah, that's my guy. I kind of mentioned it in the song Off of My Chest at the end. He fell asleep behind the wheel. So at the end, I'm like, for my brothers that didn't cross them lanes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, I did recognize. I remember that. I think you were actually in the part of the song in the video. I think you might have been sitting on a park bench.
Oh, it's like a building type of thing.
Yeah. That
you go, you know, like there's train tracks, and then they have like stairs that you can go under the train tracks.
Yeah.
It was one of those things, but I was sitting on top of that little building thing.
Yeah. Well, I remember there was a part in the thing where you were actually sitting on the backside of a bench.
Yeah.
And I think
by Lake Erie. That was Lake Erie.
Yeah, I think that was the part of the song where you talked about the crossing over thing. I might be wrong. I mean, you better
feel free to double check it.
Yeah, double check that, you guys. Double check it. But I think that's the part of the song where you were actually talking about that. Like I like to observe stuff like that when I'm listening to music or watching videos and stuff like that. I try to, you know, I try to pick out certain things that like click in my head. There's certain things that happen that click in a song that you'll see, especially when you're doing a video. Like, I don't know if you, what was it? It was over the course of the whole quarantine thing, the whole COVID thing. Machine Gun Kelly, he's been putting out these quarantine things.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them.
And I don't remember which track it was from, but he was sitting in a bedroom, and he was sitting on the edge of the bed, and he had his mic all set up, and there was these trees. You see like his out, you know, like a balcony window, and you see like, you know, the LA, you know, like an LA skyline type thing, and then there's these 3 trees that are sitting there, and they're kind of waving. You know, you kind of slowly see them waving like that, and then the beat. And as the beat drops and he starts to sing, you see like a couple of birds fly off the top of the tree. It was like a perfectly timed moment in the song of where you see those birds, the beat drops, he starts to sing, and those birds fly away. And it was just like, wow. Like that's literally all I could tell. I was just like, damn, that was a moment. You know, like that's a moment that they probably didn't even realize happened, you know, as they were recording it. But that was a moment that's very impressionable if you actually notice it. And that's one of those things that's in music for me as a fan of music that, you know,
oh my gosh,
that hits my trigger, you know, essentially. Junkie Dave requested to join. Why are you joining again? Are you there?
What the hell just happened? Coming.
I'll hit that record button again. Yep, I had to hit that record button again. And we're back, everybody. And we're back. We had a technical difficulty, but that's besides the point. Everything happens. You know me, guys. I don't plan things out. I just fly by the seat of my pants, and shit like this happens when you fly by the seat of your pants. So you have a quick cut. Maybe I inserted a song in there. I don't know. Maybe I will. I don't know. And we're back though. We're back. So what's new? What's new in your life, man? Let's get off into the weeds a little bit and start talking about life and what makes Junkie Dave tick as a person.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, as far as life right now, I'm just in the building stage. As I just said, you know, earlier, I had a couple of restarts. So after the Well-Judged Junkies thing, I had to start over again as a solo artist. So I started promoting in the Junkie Dave stuff. I had to make a new YouTube channel, a new Facebook page, new Instagram, new all of that.
Right.
So I'm kind of low on my numbers. So if you're listening, go subscribe and go follow Junkie Dave on everything.
Yeah.
Then I got into the merch game, and one of my friends helped me out a tremendous amount, and I'm very, very grateful for this person.
Yeah.
Jaysin Static. I had reached out to you, remember?
Yeah, I remember.
For like an hour. I'm like, what do I do here? How did you do this? And you helped me, and I set it up, and I was like, all right, you know what I mean? So I'm very appreciative.
So is that doing pretty good for you?
Yeah, it was doing pretty good. It started real slow, and then I just started grinding. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just go hard, and I'm gonna start grinding. And then I had right before the COVID shutdown, it was going really good. I'm like, oh man, somebody just bought a shirt. Oh man, somebody just bought 2, and I'm like,
yeah,
I'm getting sales and everything's going good.
Yeah,
and then the COVID thing happened, and I'm like,
kneecapped you.
Yeah, so
man,
I'm like, oh man, people are gonna think like I'm stealing their money because I'm new. I'm not stealing your money. I'm waiting.
Right. I actually talked to a buddy of mine the other night about that. I was just like, man, one of my friends, he ordered some stuff from me, and I feel bad, man. Like I'm, like, I don't like when I ship stuff, like, I want my shit to get there as fast as fucking possible.
Yes.
Like that's something that I've prided myself on, shipping merchandise. Cause, for any of Junkie Dave's fans who might see this, I sell a lot of shit. I sell antiques and collectibles, and I also do the podcast thing. And I got a lot of irons on the fire, in other words. And I do all that stuff through my website, www.jaysonstatic.com. All that stuff is sold on there. So, but I also sell merch on there. And the only thing that I don't personally have my hand in is my merch game. I've always used a provider, a middleman.
Yeah.
And man, oh my God, like this whole COVID, the COVID thing, I had a guy order something back in March. It was March. When was it? March. I think it was like the tail end of March. It was like March 25th, March 26th. Still hasn't got his stuff yet.
Damn.
And that's like, I feel fucking bad. Like, and not only do I feel bad, I just feel mad. Yeah. Like, I'm mad. Like I oh my God. Like, because it's just like, it's a waiting game. Like what to do. Like, and I send the guy a message every week. And I'm just like, hey man, I just want to let you know that I'm still waiting. My supplier is, held up on all this COVID thing, and they're not producing anything right now. I go, just hold out, man. Please be patient. The item will get there eventually, and just, just hold out, please. Like, don't and the guy's been pretty cool. Like, I actually had 2 people buy stuff from me, and one of them's my buddy, and the other one's just some random person on the internet that bought something. And I send them messages all the time, and I'm like, man, just like the stuff will get there. Just take your time. So the whole COVID thing made me start thinking about, bringing all of that shit in house.
Yeah, me too. Exactly.
And I mean, it's going to take it takes a little bit more to do the stuff in house, because you got to ship it yourself. You got to pack it yourself. You got to make sure your costs are all low, but your packaging is still tight and good and makes it, looks good for the people that are far away from you.
Right, right.
And there's a lot that goes into it. There's an extra couple of steps that you're going to have to do and partake in. But overall, in the long run, in the long term, is if you have everything in house, you're not going to have that mishap of, having to wait on somebody else, to get their stuff in order.
Right, right. That's what it did for me. Like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, this is taking too long. My credibility is not really there because I'm a noob. I'm new. Yeah. I'm a person here. Yeah. So they're trusting me to make sure that they get the stuff. And this, man, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's a long time. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like, and especially in this day and age of, Amazon, we get it tomorrow type stuff.
Right.
That's the type of mindset that I want to do. Like, I had somebody just right before we hit the record button on this podcast. I was just like, hey man, I got a sale. Yeah, guess what? As soon as I get off this podcast and I finish up with the next one that I got to do after this one, I'm going to package that shit up and I'm going to have that shit in the mail tomorrow. Like that's the only time where I wait more than a day is, say, if somebody buys something on a Friday, if somebody late Friday night, cause I usually ship anywhere between 10 and 2 PM or 10 AM and 2 PM on a Friday, whenever I decide to go down to the post office that day. And if somebody orders something on a Friday night after my shipping time, then they got to wait till Monday because I don't ship on weekends anymore. Just because I got to the point of where I was going down to the post office every fucking day, except for Sundays. And then come Sundays, I would have this big pile of fucking, big pile of shit. And I'm just like, man, like I'm walking down to the post office. Like I can't carry fucking piles of fucking shit.
Right.
I live like fucking 3 or 4 blocks to the fucking post office. And I'm not gonna jump in my car just to go fucking 3 or 4 blocks.
Right.
So I'm carrying all my shit down there, like. So like, yeah, man, it was just this whole COVID thing. It's made me open up my eyes a little bit to, you know, backing away from having other people help me do stuff and trying to do stuff on my own. I thought about getting a heat press machine and just pressing the shit out myself.
Yeah.
Hell, before the whole COVID thing happened, I was on my way to think, you know, I was on my way already to this mindset because my provider, when they ship shirts and stuff like that, I didn't like how they shipped it. They just threw it in a fucking poly bag. They folded the shirt and just threw it in a bag.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't like, you know, flatten it out, put a board between it to where it stays flat and, you know, non-creased up, because there's people out there that they don't like their shit all creased up, you know, like
right.
When you get a new shirt, you want the shirt to be fresh and clean and straight and not all creased up. Right. And these guys, they just throw the shit in a fucking bag and let it go. And I was just like, man, I can't do that. I want my fucking box to, you know, I want it to be flat, and I want it to be when they open up my package, I want it to look like it's a fucking present, you know, like. So
like quality shipping. Yeah.
So what I ended up doing is, I don't think I have one here, so I could actually show you. But I have a comic box. You know what? Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm gonna run and grab one.
Gotcha. Dum 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 dum. Hey.
I know the people on the podcast aren't going to be able to see this, but this is a comic box.
Hey,
and this is what, you know, that you ship comic books in. We can segue into comic books later, because I know you're a big fan of comics. You fucking nerd. But what you do is you take this box and it slides like this.
Oh, okay.
And then I put the shirt in here like this. Fold this little end up like that, and then fold it like that, and then fold each of these little flaps over, and it ends up like a book, essentially. So when they open their shirt, they're opening it like a book.
That's dope.
And then it's right there. But that's what I ship them in, because I mean, I get stacks and stacks and stacks of these boxes because I ship a lot of comic books.
Yeah, I got that shirt right there. The one you're wearing, the Static Clan.
Yeah, the Static Clan shirt. That's probably my favorite. It's my go-to shirt. I got probably about 3 or 4 of them in my closet back here, just because for ones that I got for sale.
Very, very comfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I mean, I came up with the idea of, you know, like, I'm just going to buy a fucking heat press machine. There's a place online. My buddy Rob from TA Flags, he hooked me up. And he said that there's this place called... what the name of that place? I can't remember the name of the place. But there's a place that does like heat transfers and whatnot. Yeah. You buy like a big old sheet of it. And you just, you buy the whole sheet and you cut it out and you do your heat pressing from there. Different obviously it costs a little bit different money. More colors in it costs a little bit more. But I'm willing to take that little bit of a punch, you know, on that tip. I'm willing to take that hit.
Yeah, it'll balance out eventually.
You know, and it'll balance out a little bit. And then I'll have all the shit in house. You know, I'll have the heat press machine. Somebody orders it, boom, boom, press it. I can keep all the sheets for the designs and shit like that. The only thing I got to do is I got to get the backing. You know, I got to get the income for buying the machine. Buying a decent machine.
Yeah, they got some cheap ones, but the decent ones they run you a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, there was one I was looking at. I think it was like $250, something like that. It's not a super high end machine, but it's still it's a decent machine, and it does actual mugs too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I know you're a coffee junkie, so
yeah, I got the coffee junkie mugs. I had to take them down from the store because the provider is not working because of the COVID. So
yeah,
had to do my first refund. I was
oh God, I hate that, don't you, man?
I'm like, there's no mugs.
Yeah, there's no mugs. You can switch your providers.
Yeah, they didn't have an extra one for the mugs.
Oh, okay.
I was like, damn.
Yeah, man, that's something that I've switched 3 providers already.
Yeah, I did that with
the shirts.
Yeah,
and I'm still waiting. Like, it's just like, damn, like, what do you do, man? What do you do? That's what happens. That's what happens when you have a bunch of middlemen.
Yeah,
and you don't do the shit yourself.
That's why I say everything. One of my little philosophies is the gift and the curse. I believe like a yin and yang type of thing. I believe there's good and there's evil. There's a balance to things. So I look at every situation that happens and I try to look at the gift and the curse. One of them is blatantly in your face. And the other one you got to, kind of look for. So this COVID thing has been, a gift and a curse. There's been a lot of people dying and stuff like that. There's been a lot of, people doing things behind the scenes and a lot of misinformation and a whole bunch of stuff like that. But it's given us the opportunity to become more independent. It's given some people the opportunity to take a breather because just working every day in a regular job, you become a plant. You know what I mean? You become like a zombie.
Yeah.
And you don't ever, certain people don't get to follow their dreams or do any of that. But this allowed some people to get that recharge, to focus on something that they want to do. And, I see some people, they're getting into their own business. They're becoming entrepreneurs off of this. So there's a gift and there's a curse. You know what I mean?
And that's obviously, a lot of people took hits. Small businesses took hits, big hits. Yeah. But certain other people, I'd say like, well, like I have a full-time job that I do besides this, and then online reselling stuff. I work in the restaurant industry, and the place that I worked at, they took a hit, big hit. And I took a big hit. I got down to the point of where I essentially went a month and a half without working. And, I essentially spent, my entire savings that I had, which wasn't much to begin with, because there's a lot of things that I don't do. Like my money that I make from my online stuff, that stays there. So my money that I make from the full-time job, that's used to pay all my bills.
Right.
And I didn't have that. So I had to dip into my online money, and that's what I call it, my fun money. Yeah. So that's, rainy day funds, replenishing stock and stuff like that. So I had to dip into that money, and I got down to the point of where like I told a couple of people, I was just like, like if this shit would have lasted a little bit longer for me, like eventually I ended up getting called back to, I got called back to work because where I'm at in Missouri, they pretty much said, you guys can open up fully back up, table distance and da-da-da. And I was just like, man, I was literally like maybe 2.5 weeks away of not having any money, broke as a joke, because I tapped everything that I had.
Right.
While my sales on my online sales increased, it was just enough money to keep everything going. And like just because you don't work doesn't mean that that your light bill doesn't go off. Like exactly. They're gonna shut that shit off no matter what. Like they don't care if it's a fucking pandemic or not. Like you don't pay that bill, your shit's getting shut off. Yep. And luckily I was able to work it out with my landlord. I live in an apartment building. So I was able to work it out with him and his wife, that they didn't allow me. They gave me, essentially they gave me a buy for a month, and they let me pay it up. They let me pay it up on the back end. Right, so I was able to focus, to keep all my other bills on, and I didn't have to focus so much about rent, which that helped me out a lot. But that's also a good thing to do, is to get in tight. If you're a person that rents stuff, get in tight with your landlord or whoever owns your place. Get in tight with them. If you can,
be a good tenant. Be a good tenant.
Be respectful of all the other tenants in the building. Don't be a fucking Karen, but be a good tenant. Yeah. Don't be a Karen. Make sure the place that you're staying in, if you're in an apartment building, make sure that your area is well kept. And if somebody's fucking shit up and making a trash of the place, take that second. I had a couple of people that lived, a couple of apartments down from me. They always hung out outside their apartment, and they'd leave like cigarette butts and trash and cups and everything. And I just occasionally, as I'm on my way to the dumpster, because I'm passing their apartment to go to the dumpster to throw my trash away, I just pick up all their trash and go throw it into the dumpster. Because I got tired of the front of my building looking like trash. So I just picked up all their trash, and then my landlord seen me doing it one day, and he's just like, "You don't have to do that." I'm like, "Hey man, I want the place that I live in to look good, and that's part of being a good tenant. You don't have to do it, but hey, I got in good with the landlord, and it gave me that buy on that first month of COVID.
Right.
It gave me that buy, and it was doing stuff like that, telling the landlord, hey, if you need any help doing anything, let me know. I know how to fix things. Like my landlord, he doesn't have to come into my apartment,
right,
to fix shit, because I know how to do it myself. And I just tell him, I'm like, hey, I fixed this, and he's like, okay,
that's what's up.
As long as it's not, like hundreds of dollars or anything like that, I'll leave that for him. But like,
hey, I just took down this wall real quick.
Yeah, like
space.
Like you got a clogged sink. I know how to fucking unclog a sink. Fucking knob on the fucking sink breaks. I know how to fucking replace a fucking knob. Come on, man.
Right. The worst case scenario, YouTube.
Yeah, well, YouTube it. That's how society runs today. Is learning shit on YouTube. I got a buddy. I got a guy. He lives up above the restaurant. Not up above, but in the same building area.
Yeah.
And he comes down and does all of our maintenance in the restaurant area. And he's a maintenance guy. And he goes, if I don't know something, I just go to YouTube and learn it. And I know how to do it. Right. I've literally sat there with him in the restaurant, and he's watching YouTube fixing the fucking item that he's fucking working on. And I'm just like, damn. Like, he's like, yeah, I do this all the time. He was like, you can learn anything from YouTube.
Yeah, they'd be like, you're a genius.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why I'm really good at YouTube.
Yeah, I'm just really good at learning YouTube, learning stuff from YouTube. Like that's how I learned how to audio produce, is from YouTube. Yeah. Man. Like I could probably mix together a song, like if I had to.
I believe it. I see your the poetry that you put on.
Oh yeah, that one, man, that one took forever to do, because it took more time. It took more time for me to find the sound clips that I wanted than it actually took for me to actually put it all together.
Yeah, that's how it is. That's how it is, though.
Yeah, like funny thing, man. Believe it or not, I actually dabbled in music in the early 2000s.
Hey.
Yeah, I used to make like techno beats.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I had this program. What the fuck was the name of that program? It was like Funky something, Fruity Beats or
Fruity Loops.
Fruity Loops. Yeah, Fruity Loops. Yeah, Fruity Loops.
That's big. A lot of people use that.
Yeah, back in the early 2000s, it was like late 90s, early 2000s. Like they were just kind of like coming into their own, and they were doing like they had all different types of packages. They had like hip hop, piano, classical, rock, and it was all separate little things. They were like little packages that you had to get.
Yeah. And
the techno one, I wish I could find some of that shit, man. If Napster was still a thing, you'd probably be able to find some of that music on there somewhere.
Dude, Napster is still a thing. I didn't know that.
Really? I didn't know
I
that.
believe so. Yeah, one of my I believe my songs are on there. I don't even know where it's at, but
maybe if I could remember my fucking MySpace, because I remember I had shit on MySpace. I had some of the music on the MySpace player.
Yeah, we had some too back in the day with our obvious group. We had the little MySpace page.
I've met a lot of people through fucking MySpace. Believe it, like some of the people I still talk to some of the people today that I met on MySpace.
That's crazy.
That's I think like one of my ex-girlfriends I met through fucking MySpace, and we still talked. I mean, we're not together anymore, but we still talk today. Yeah, we fucking met on MySpace. The MySpace fucking little like. Was it Yahoo? Maybe it was Yahoo. I don't even fucking remember. You remember Yahoo chat rooms?
Yeah, AIM.
Yeah, AIM chat room, Yahoo chat rooms.
Yeah. Damn, we're dating ourselves big time.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm young. I'm like 20.
I'm 38. I don't care. I'm 38 and I got gray in my beard. Fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah, I got some grays too. I call it wisdom.
Yeah,
I got some wisdom here.
Gray's wisdom. That's when you hit the gray. When you start getting gray, that's when you know that you got a little bit of wisdom behind you. A little bit of age. You get a little bit of age, but you get a little bit of wisdom with that age too.
Right.
You've never seen a dumb wizard, right?
Nah.
Wizards are always old gray-haired people.
Yep, none of them are bald. They're all just full gray hair.
Yeah, full gray hair, full beards, full gray beards, and they're fucking, amazingly smart, and they're fucking wizards. I mean, you got to be smart to be a wizard.
Right. Then the warlocks, they be bald, but they end up losing to the wizard.
Yeah. So I mentioned comic books a while ago. Yeah. What is your take on, the realm of comic books today, kind of pushing the SJW type stuff all the time?
It's crazy.
What is your insight on the movies and the whole culture of comic books nowadays and whatnot?
I try to see the good and the bad, but there's a lot of bad to see sometimes.
Yeah.
But mind you, there's always been like a hint of political stuff and a bit of SJW stuff in the comic books. You know what I mean?
There has, yep.
Captain America punching Hitler in the face. You know what I mean? Had the Japanese ones back in the days. There's a lot of stuff in there, but I don't know. I think they're just going too far with it now. Like it's not at least back in the day, they had storylines. They had a purpose for why they were being, social justice warriors. Now it's just, I don't know. It's just
it almost seems
no real good reason behind it.
It almost seems like they're doing it just to do it.
Yeah, like let's just do this. I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah, like back in the day when Stan Lee and guys like Jack Kirby and all those guys were, doing shit and they were writing these stories. Like, I don't know if you ever heard the story. Stan Lee told a story one time of one of the reasons, what he was the reason why they created the X-Men.
Yeah, X-Men. Yep.
The X-Men story. The concept of the story might be mutants and and whatnot, but it was actually based off the civil rights era.
Martin Luther King and Malcolm X.
It was all based in that realm, except for instead of black culture and African American and whatever, however you want to name them. That's essentially the X-Men group and their whole entire movement of the X-Men, fighting for mutant kind and everything like that. That was actually based and rooted in, the civil rights era. And it was Stan Lee's way as a white man to help fight back against the oppression of, the oppression that those people were facing back then.
Right.
And that was his way of writing it.
And it's dope too, because it was mainly younger people that were reading these comics. So we were getting that ideals. You know, we was getting that at a young age, and
you didn't even realize it.
Yeah, so I think it helped out a lot. I think we've came a long way. Some people think we're regressing, but I just think that we're seeing it more because of technology.
Yeah, wow.
But I think we've come a long way. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that, man. You know, like, I think like there's a good purpose to having a story based like that, because it actually has an overall arcing message.
Yeah,
and it stays it's always stayed consistent for the most part. It's always been the X-Men fighting for, you know, mutant kind.
Yeah,
you know,
you have the positive side, the more peaceful side, and then you have the more aggressive side.
Yeah, Magneto was the Malcolm X of the group. Malcolm X, he was always the one that was willing to be more aggressive.
Right.
Martin Luther King Jr., he always wanted to be the more peaceful side.
Right.
You know, so those two lanes, they wove within each other to tell the beautiful story of, you know, fighting for the same thing but doing it at different things. And then you also had the side of you essentially had three sides in it. You had the Malcolm side, you had the Martin side, and then you had the white side.
Right.
You know, and it was a good story, and you didn't even realize that that's the story that they were telling.
Yeah, they even had the derogatory name with muties, calling them muties.
Yeah, you know, like, and I think social justice is good when you're doing it, and it's not like just doing it to do it. When you're actually providing a purpose, almost essentially to the point of where, like, you're seeing it and you don't actually see it.
Right.
And you don't, and you're realizing the story, but you're not actually like seeing the full scope of it. I think it's better suited to do it on those realms because, you know, you can learn a lot. You learn a lot from that when it's not so blatant and in your face, like just to change.
Safe Space. You heard of that new superhero, Safe Space, and the other one? Oh my gosh. It is
like
terrible.
You know, like there's a lot of things like just changing, like I would say, you know, like taking on an already well established character and just like you know, this might be a little offensive for some people, so brace yourself. I'll let you guys know ahead of time before I actually say it. So it essentially be like taking Thor. I'm going to use Thor as the example because it's actually happened in the comics.
Oh yeah,
Thor was a pretty big and beloved character, and then Thor got changed to what's her name, the Lady Thor,
Jane,
yeah, Jane Foster, and it was absolutely hated throughout the whole comic book culture. The only people that actually liked it were the people that were writing it.
Right.
Like nobody liked it.
I didn't mind it so much because I didn't follow the whole story arc of it, but you know, the way that it, you know, she had cancer, she was dying or whatever.
Yeah.
I kind of, you know, I didn't mind that considering the whole unworthy Thor. I kind of liked the unworthy Thor when he didn't have Mjolnir. He was just out there battling, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was kind of fire. So
yeah.
I didn't mind it as much, but
I mean, but like, and then they learned real quick that it was the worst selling Thor comic run in the history of Thor comics.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I didn't really follow it at all, but
yeah, they switched it up. They switched it up, and then Thor came back. I believe I don't remember the actual time. I can't remember the exact timeline, but she took up the mantle of Thor. People hated it. Worst selling issue of Thor in history.
Yeah, I followed the unworthy Thor. I didn't follow that.
Yeah, and then they were just like, well, let's since people don't like this, let's make her the All Mother.
Yeah, they're just doing too much.
And like it was just like you go from Jane Foster, cancer patient, dying of cancer, to being the Almighty God Thor, to being the All Mother who was like the creator and the all big powerful of the place where Thor lives. And it's just like, how? Like you're not even
Asgardian descent.
Yeah, you're not Asgardian descent. Like, how can you become the all-powerful creator of all Asgardian? Like
from Earth, from Midgard.
Yeah, how can you become like how? Like, there's no way. Like when you do shit like that.
Yeah.
And it's just like you essentially shit on the entire history of everything that was done before you. Right. That would be like taking Black Panther and being like, well, we're gonna make him a white guy from Southeast Missouri.
Right.
Like
name Static.
Yeah. I'm gonna become the new Black Panther. Like it'd be a total, it's shitting on the entire history of what it was before with no actual purpose in sight. They're just flipping it to flip it.
Yeah, just for inclusion. And it's like nobody even asked to be included in that. Like that's my whole standpoint on that is if you want to do something with inclusion, like I'm all for it. I'm all for having, diversity. I'm all for that. I like to see different people in there, different races. I love that. But give them their own character, give them their own storyline, and you can build out, it'll be more authentic. You can add stuff that you wouldn't be able to add by just switching the face. You know what I mean? It's just I don't like that. I don't like
that. And to me, that type of culture of just flipping stuff on an end, just to flip it, just to be inclusive, it takes away from the countless, heroes and villains that are already there that they can use.
Right. And if you don't want to use them, make a new one. You know what I mean?
There's a guy named Eric July. He's really big in the comic culture. And one of the things that he always says, he goes, and he's a black guy and is a super cool guy. I watch a lot of his shit on YouTube, and he makes a lot of good sense about, when it comes to comics. He goes, there's such a big list of great, comic book heroes of African descent, African culture and stuff like that. He goes, but they don't want to use those guys. They want to take and build it off of, of somebody else's steam, like they want to take, he hates the Miles Morales thing.
I was a little iffy on it, but he's in his Ultimate Universe, so I don't really.
Well, this guy, like, I'm using it. I never really got into. I didn't actually look into it, so I don't know a whole lot about the Miles Morales thing. But like, he's like, instead of them bringing Miles Morales up as a Spider-Man, like a Spider-Man-esque type character, they're just like, now you're Spider-Man.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
So you're not building off of Miles Morales' history. You're building off of Peter Parker's history.
Right.
So
Spider-Man's history.
You're building off of Peter Parker and Spider-Man's history. You're not building Miles Morales' history. You're adding on to somebody else's history, which is defeating the purpose of making a good, solid character. That's what people complain about so much is, there's not, big time, people of this, people of this culture, of this race, or of this sexual orientation. But there is.
Yeah.
You got Brother Voodoo, you got Luke Cage, you got all of these characters that are great solid characters, and even some lower tier solid characters in different cultures that's not like white, that's not just white, black, stuff like that you could build on it and build a big franchise from. Like Brother Voodoo. I would love to see a fucking Brother Voodoo fucking, type character get the acclaim that
they could easily introduce him in a Doctor Strange movie. Easily.
Yeah. And it's shit like that when if you push and you build on the characters that are already there, there's, especially in Marvel, there's thousands and thousands of characters.
Exactly.
You know, that they could take and be like, oh, well, this guy's kind of a dead character. He's not dead, but he's not used. He's kind of dormant. They don't do anything with him. There's thousands of cases like that. Or there's even supporting characters in certain comics that could do standalone and become like, hell, Storm. Storm's a big name, but she's never had, I don't think, as far as I can remember, she's never had a standalone comic by herself.
Yeah, it's always X-Men or with Black Panther.
Yeah, you know, like to have a standalone comic with Storm or, you know, Jubilee, or you could build on things like that and stuff that's already established. The problem that we have today in the comic book culture is, you know, they just want to flip what's already been done and already been established and then try to weave it into something else. And you're essentially, to me, like I said, you know, you're shitting on the entire history of what it was meant to be.
Yeah, and it's cheap. Like I don't understand the applaud behind it.
Yeah,
it's cheap. There's nothing that went into it. You know what I mean? Like everything that's worthwhile, you know, it takes time and it takes effort. And there's really no effort put into these characters. You're just putting a mask on them and being like, here's a new guy. No, it's not a new guy.
Yeah.
It bothers me sometimes when people be like, oh, they'd be like, well, it's a fictional character. And that's not the point. Like, it is fictional character, but a lot of these fictional characters were brought into our lives when we believed Santa Claus was real. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we're building a rapport with these guys because some of us didn't have a bunch of friends, or some of us, you know, were punished or couldn't hang out outside. And we had these comic books that we could escape into this world and build, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, somebody that you spent now, you know, we're in our 30s and we've known this character our whole life. And now you want to it don't matter which way you treat. You could turn a black character white. It doesn't matter which way you flip it. When you're changing that person, that character, it's like, damn, like that's not who we knew. Yeah. It's not about race. It's not about gender. It's not about sexual orientation. It's about you're changing that person. You know what I mean? Like Bucky being Captain America. Wasn't he Captain America for a little while?
Mm-hmm.
They're both white, but still nobody wants to see Bucky as Captain America. We want Steve Rogers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just cheap.
Yeah. And like what's his name? The guy that's taken up the mantle of the black dude.
Falcon?
Falcon, yeah. Like Falcon is such a great fucking character.
Yeah.
Why do you gotta change Falcon to Captain America? Like Falcon he has a great story all on his own. Like it works. It works because, you know, they're woven of the same, you know, breed. Yeah. Essentially, but Falcon, he has such a great story to begin with, you know, so why do you got to change him to be, you know, even like you just said, Bucky? Like, I don't want to see Bucky. I want to see Bucky as Bucky. I don't want to see Bucky as Captain America.
Even they tried to put him as White Wolf. Did you see that?
Yeah.
In what was it, Endgame? It was like the White Wolf. I'm like,
yeah, you know, like just and say if, you know, Captain America, if Captain America has to die, kill him, kill it off, you know, just end it.
Right. Like have his shield somewhere and do it in memory of him,
you know. But, you know, you can say, you know, I'm going to keep, you know, you could take the way that you'd want to weave something like that to me in the context of story, say Captain America got killed in battle or whatever. And then you have Bucky and then you have Falcon and be like, you know what? We're gonna team up and we're gonna keep fighting in Captain America's honor.
Yeah, yeah.
We're gonna fight. We're gonna take up his cause and fight for him. But we're not gonna fight as him.
Right. Exactly. It's not a new Captain America. There's only one Captain America.
Yeah, and I've told people this, you know, arguing with people on the internet and stuff like, you know, the switching, like. If somebody in the Marvel universe, in the Marvel world, had a wild hair up their ass, and they decided to take one of the main characters in the Black Panther story, out and make him a fucking white guy.
Yeah.
I would be fucking mad. I'd be like, no.
The meme with Ryan Gosling as
as Black Panther. Like, I would be fucking mad.
Yeah.
There's no other Black Panther. There's no other T'Challa. It's just him. Like, if you want to have another black guy play him, cool, do it. I might be okay with that.
Yeah, because that's what it is. Essentially, the Black Panther's a mantle. You know what I mean? So if he dies, the next one up will go ahead and take that. So I don't mind that so much, because that's a mantle. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like his dad, the Black Panther, and his granddad before that. So.
Yeah, so like I can understand if it's in your lineage. Say like you just said, his father, his granddad, they were all Black Panther. I can understand passing that mantle down.
Yeah.
But just pass the mantle to any old Joe Schmo in the comic and be like, oh, this guy's a good fit here.
Bob is cool.
Hell, Bob. You remember Bob the Blob? Yeah, he's going to be your new Captain America. And he comes out with a fucking half fucking shirt on because he can't fucking fit in the Captain America costume.
Right.
He's like a fat blob. You remember the Blob?
Blob, yeah.
Yeah, remember Blob? They'd be like, oh, well, we need to have fat inclusion. We got to include the fat people now. So now the Blob, he's not going to be the Blob anymore. He's going to take up the mantle of Iron Man.
Right.
It's just like, what?
A lot of iron.
What? That don't make no sense. Like, why? Just stop, please.
Yeah, I didn't mind when Doom took the Iron Man mantle for that little bit. I thought that was pretty cool.
There's certain cases, like
for a little while, not forever. Just that little series, you know what I mean? I don't mind like something real quick. But.
There's always circumstances in things where it's passable. Like we said with the whole, the Bucky and Falcon taking over the Iron or the Captain America mantle is not cool, but we were cool with somebody else in the lineage of the Black Panther to take over the Black Panther.
But that's acceptable in the lineage,
that's acceptable. And hell, even like say T'Challa marries some girl, and then they pass, he dies, and then she takes up the mantle. I'd be okay with that because it's in the lineage then.
Yeah. Like Shuri, I wouldn't be mine with Shuri, his sister.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that if like he had to step down or something like that.
Yeah.
She's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But only for a little bit. We're gonna need T'Challa back, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's comic books. You can always bring the character back somehow, some way.
I didn't like the Hulk switch. With what's his name? Cho. What's his name? Amadeus Cho.
Yeah, Amadeus Cho.
The totally awesome Hulk. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no.
I was talking to somebody the other day at work, and we're talking about comic book movies, and I said, what I want to see, I want to see Hulk like separate from the group, and turn into either Red Hulk or Gray Hulk, or even Worldbreaker Hulk.
Worldbreaker Hulk, they missed that storyline. I think with Ragnarok, they kind of intertwined Planet Hulk with
they planted that seed.
Yeah, but man,
I don't think it's too far past. I think they could still do it.
Yeah, with Fantastic Four coming into the fold, you know what I mean, and the X-Men coming into the fold, you can have the Illuminati.
Yeah, there's so many angles and things that they could do, but I think a good way to segue, like I would love to see Hawk go his own way.
Red Hawk, because they got General Thunderbolt Ross. Mm-hmm. He's in the MCU.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. I think a Red Hawk would be, because now he's got the fucking cripple arm.
Yeah.
His love entrance. I believe she died.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
I think she died. I think she died in the snap.
Oh, you talking about Black Widow?
Yeah.
Oh, no, Black Widow didn't die in the snap. Betty died. She probably died in the snap.
I know he had a love interest. I don't remember who it was.
In the comics, it was Betty. In the movies, he was into Black Widow. They had a love
But I think there's a way that they could weave in Hawk going rogue for a while.
Yeah, they missed that, man. That's what they should have did that. I think they got that thing with Paramount, and they kind of owned the rights, so they can't solo movie.
He kind of went rogue a little bit with the whole Ragnarok thing, but it was more like he was just like he was more just like, nah, fuck you guys.
Yeah,
like I'm talking about like full fucking rogue, like where he's fighting them and stuff.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, man, that the World War Hawk. I read that the whole story arc. I'm like, man, started from Planet Hulk. I'm like, damn, dude.
Yeah,
like it's crazy. Could you imagine going through that? Bring the Sentry. That's fire. That's a fire. That was a fire series.
I think there's a lot of shit that could be done. Like one thing that they said when they said they were going to bring Jane Foster in as the new Thor in the upcoming movies, I was like,
did you not learn?
after all of that fucking, even in Ragnarok where they teased fucking Beta Ray Bill.
Yes, that's one of my guys on low key. I like Beta Ray Bill a lot.
I'm like, you fucking teased Beta Ray Bill in the fucking in Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And now like one of the most beloved, Thor, characters in Thor, Beta Ray Bill. You tease him in the comic, and you're like, everybody's like, and you made it a fucking purpose to tease him because there was like a big fucking statue, and they fucking slow pans up, and it's like, oh, Beta Ray Bill's coming, Beta Ray Bill. And
they had his species in I think Infinity War. I think at the end of Infinity War or something like that.
Yeah,
he was going around the different planets. They showed them killing off a couple of his kind.
Yeah, and they had him in the who was the collector guy? The guy that had all the
yeah, I forget his name.
He had like Howard the Duck
that was he
like,
made it in Endgame. He was in there.
Howard. And like there was Beta Ray Bill stuff in that too.
Benicio del Toro, right? Is that his name? Benicio del Toro?
Yeah.
That's the guy. Collector.
Yeah, that's the actor that played him. But like you had all these hints dropping of like Beta Ray Bill coming.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of, at that same time, there was a lot of rumblings of, Thor, this being Thor's last movie type thing. So you're like, oh, they're gonna bring Beta Ray Bill in to further on that mantle. And they were like, and then they're like, no, we're gonna do Jane Foster. And it's just like,
but it's a one-off, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think it's a one. I think they're doing it in the.
I don't know. I hope if they do it as a one-off and they just immediately kill her off in the movie. Just do it. Just fucking kill her off, please.
No, I have to do this and sacrifice myself.
Because yeah, if they come out of that movie and by the end of the movie she's a fucking all mother. I'm giving up. I'm gonna say fuck it. I'm gonna start protesting. Like I'm gonna go out in front of Marvel Studios and fucking with a fucking picket sign. I'm gonna be like, stop, please, just stop. Bring Beta Ray Bill in, please.
Yes,
I'm gonna go out in a fucking Beta Ray Bill costume and just be like, fuck it. We need fucking Beta Ray Bill, please. There's so much shit that also at the end of Endgame. Like there's so many arcs and stories that they can branch out from there. Like who was the person that contacted Howard the Duck? Right. How did Howard the Duck get there? I want to know.
Right. He ended up in some type of portal.
Yeah. Who contacted Howard the Duck to come in to help with Endgame? Because you made it a purpose for Howard the Duck to be seen on the camera.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do with Howard? And who contacted Howard to get him there? Because everybody knows that Howard the Duck is fucking badass.
Yes.
Howard is a badass, man. And I would love to see a new Howard the Duck movie.
Yeah. They can do it.
A new fucking Howard the Duck movie would be fucking the shit.
Yeah, the CGI that they're working with now, he looked good in the movies. Like I don't know.
Yeah. And I wouldn't even mind, like somebody live action it, like a little fucking midget guy or something. Like, I wouldn't mind that at all, because that's what the original
inclusion. It's inclusion.
The original movie was a guy in a costume.
You don't want to appropriate short culture.
Yeah, get a guy that's a midget, that's kind of lean, doesn't have the fat booty. Get a lean midget, maybe a little bit taller.
You could use the fat booty, you know what I mean? Just throw some feathers on the back of it.
Yeah, you can make it work, do a little bit of, you'd be like Vision, you had a little bit of CGI, a little bit of makeup, it'll all work out. But you have a core base there. And you have the waddle walk down.
Exactly. You don't have to CGI that at all.
Yeah, you don't have to CGI the walk. You already have it down. It's authentic. It's there. I think. Hey, Marvel, if you're listening, I think me and Junkie Dave just came up with a new movie. Your next movie. I want to see him in.
Do not water him down, though.
Yeah, we need Howard the Duck to be as abrasive and loud and boisterous as he has always been.
Yes. Whatever Fox did with Deadpool, how they let them go, do that with Howard the Duck.
I think they just need to do that with all the comics, because there's some pretty loud and abrasive characters out in comics. Like, you just got to do it. Like, just say fuck it and just do it. Like,
they're scared. It's the money thing.
Oh, man.
They're trying to get that PG-13 rating so they can get the kids and the parents.
But that's another thing I've always had a problem with comics, is like, comic movies in general, is like, comic movies really aren't PG. Like, the comics aren't PG at all.
Nah.
Like, they're pretty abrasive, and some of them, like, you got people getting like parts ripped off and faces punched and all kinds of words and guns and arrows, and like, they're pretty violent in nature. Like, I think they just need to let it go. Like, let them be like how they are. Like Deadpool. Deadpool's a rated R movie. Fuck it. Let it be a rated R movie.
Yeah, I love Deadpool. That was a proud moment for me as a comic junkie. You know what I'm saying? And to watch it hit the big screen like that, I was so happy.
Yeah.
There was talk of trying to get it PG-13. I'm like, no.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that just wouldn't go. Ghost Rider, that needs to be a rated R. Like, you can't do a Ghost Rider film. You can't do a Punisher film without it being rated R.
Dude, I like the Punisher series on Netflix. I think Netflix did a really good job.
Netflix did a phenomenal job with those stories.
Yeah,
and all of them. I think all of them were all really great stories. The Iron Fist. I liked them all.
Dude, Jessica Jones was fire. I wasn't even that into Jessica Jones, and then I'm like, wow, this is pretty dope.
Yeah, you got Disney Plus?
Nah, I got but I watched them. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I got you. Are you gonna be getting Disney Plus at all? Because they're gonna have the way the new universe is coming in the coming years is they're all gonna be intertwined with each other.
Right. They got the WandaVision.
Yeah. So I mean that's actually a pretty fucking smart.
I thought they were going to do that with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They started off kind of mixing them a little bit in like the first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and then they just separated totally.
That's actually a pretty smart way of doing business. If you want to know the story, like follow the timelines and the stories, like you're going to have to get this thing over here. Like,
they're big enough for it.
Yeah. I think you big on DC or anything like that?
My favorite superhero is Superman.
Right. That's why that was a good segue. I think. What do you think about the DC universe as in movies?
I think they try too hard to be Marvel, or they try too hard to be a darker Marvel.
Yeah,
and they didn't take their time. They rushed things. Like Marvel took 10 years to get to Infinity War. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
they took like, how long was it? Like 4 or 5 years to get to the first Avengers film.
Right.
This DC was like, nah, that's our third movie's Justice League. Like, damn.
Yeah.
So I think they did too much. They tried too hard to be something that they're not, and I think that's where they messed up. I think their best, whoever's at DC, Warner Brothers, if you guys are listening, all you got to do is whoever's doing the animated universe, the movie universe, the DC animated universe, let them do the movies. Let them do the live action movies, because their storylines for the DC animated universe is fire. They're fire. I just watched the whole thing with my son. I started him from Flashpoint. We started from Flashpoint and just went all the way through Son of Batman, Justice League War, Justice League Dark. You know what I mean?
What do you think? What do you think of the DC on the TV show realm? Like as for like Arrow and
I liked
Gotham and Flash and stuff like that.
Gotham is fire, and I think Gotham is fire because they made their own lane. You know what I mean? They took it to before Bruce ever became Batman. Yeah. Even though they're bringing some of the characters in a little bit earlier, but I like their story because they're following Gordon. You know what I mean? So Gotham is pretty fire. And then the guy that did Joker on there was awesome.
Phenomenal. I was talking to somebody not too long ago about just that. I was just like, I think what DC needs to do, DC, whoever's controlling y'all in your movie universe, this is what you guys need to do. Warner Brothers. This is what you guys need to do. You guys need to link up with the people who you got to start it off with. You got to start it off with your cream of the crop. Like the Marvel universe started off with Iron Man. Right. It all circled around Iron Man. What Warner Brothers and DC needs to do, they need to focus. They need to back up and focus their entire center around Batman. Batman, granted, Superman was the first. The most popular character in comic books is Batman. Yeah. Is Batman. Especially in the DC universe.
Especially now. Superman gets a lot of hate, man. I be in my little comic groups on here. Yeah. I just scrolling like, I'm not even entertaining that. There's like, oh, this person can beat Superman. I'm like, not really, but I'm not going to give you that argument.
So this is my plan for a reboot, a complete reboot, is follow the storyline for the most part of Gotham. Start it from there, from Gordon's point of view, and build your story out from there. And then do exactly what Marvel did and do it over a span of multiple years, 10 plus, 5, 6, 7, 10 plus years, somewhere around there, and build that story out, and then occasionally weave in a different character.
Yeah, they could do that easily. I think,
and then build your Justice League thing.
Yeah, like I said, with the Disney, I think they should follow the animated. Yeah. Disney started off with Flashpoint Paradox. People know Flash. You know what I mean? He goes back in time, saves his mom. Everything changes. They could start from there to seeing all these characters and be like, wait, that's not this person. That's not this person. And then him going all the way back again to fix it. They could start, to show, hey, what all the DC movies that we had, we're starting over. That's the whole point of what Flashpoint Paradox is. It's pretty much like a rebirth. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, Well, I mean, I didn't even think about. I haven't watched. I think I watched maybe a couple of episodes of some of the animated stuff. I haven't watched them all, but
dude, the animated movies are fire, man. I'll send you a list of the ones to watch in order. Not all of the DC animated is in the continuities, right? But I'll send you a list.
I think hell, you could probably center a reboot of the DC universe and movies through Flash.
Yeah. Call it Paradox, Flashpoint Paradox,
and rebuild the whole universe from there, because they all end up tying together one way or another. So You could bring in a Batman. You could bring in and use the characters that have become beloved from like the TV shows, like the fucking the kid that plays Joker.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Oh my God, that kid is fucking awesome.
I was sitting there like, what the hell is going on? And then a lot of people don't, they don't know the comic stuff, and they don't realize, when Joker had his face sliced off and then sewed back on. They don't know about all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you're watching this on live TV. You're like, oh snap! Like they're doing this. Oh wow.
Yeah, like that. I think the kid, the dude that plays Penguin.
Yeah,
I think he's done a fucking phenomenal job.
And they changed the way he was. Like he's not the Penguin from the comic books, but the way that they did it, it's believable. You know what I mean? It's believable. It makes sense. He's vicious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just like the other fucking. He's not a fat tub of goo or anything like that.
Yeah,
he
might be like that.
Huh? He could.
But yeah, I love it.
I love the way that Gotham was built. Like the whole universe surrounding Gotham. Like I love the way they built that.
Yeah,
and where they tied all the characters together as like young kids, but they don't even realize, for the most part, that all of these characters are already here.
Yeah,
because they're all they're interacting with each other, but they're not interacting with each other because they're all interacting with Gordon.
Yeah, I liked it. The girl that played Catwoman,
she did really good too. I think she's leaving though, isn't she?
Wow. I have no idea. I think I missed the whole last season.
I thought I seen maybe I seen it. I don't remember if it was on Facebook or on YouTube. I don't remember. I seen something like a little blip or a video or something. I ended up not looking at it because there's so much stuff to look at in a day. Like, and then when you try to go back and look at it, and you're like, you can never find it.
Yeah,
but
good old algorithms.
Yeah, I think I might be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody who watches this far in or listens this far in, I think she might be leaving the show. Maybe.
I know possibly. Batwoman, actress that plays Batwoman, is leaving that show.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it wasn't Catwoman. It was the actual Batwoman.
Yeah, they.
What do you think of Supergirl?
Supergirl, I was so excited for. I was like, oh, I'm watching this because I love the way that Arrow was presented. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Even though it just pretty much was like, hey, let's take Batman's mask off and give him a bow and arrow. This is the Green Arrow now. You know what I mean? He's a rich guy. He's got his arrow cave. You know what I mean? He's Batman.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind it so much because they are kind of similar. And then Flash came out, and I'm like, oh, I like what they're doing with Flash. So Supergirl came out. I'm like, I'm on this. And then I got like probably about 4 episodes in, and I was like, I can't.
It turns real quick, and you're just like, what the fuck happened? It's
like they didn't even take it serious because in Arrow the villains look really cool. You know what I mean? In Flash, you see, his rogue gallery, and you got Captain Cold and Heatwave, and you're seeing their weapons, their outfits. You're like, man, this is believable. Like, if superheroes were real, I could see these guys, being real villains. Like, they look. And then you watch Supergirl, and you're like, where the heck did they get this? What C-list Comic-Con did they get these costumes from? Like,
right, yeah. Damn. Yeah, it was. Oh my God. Out of all the TV shows, man, they just need to scrap that thing quick.
Supergirl was terrible.
Burn it from the memory hole, please. Or just like
Batwoman was terrible. I'm like, they did too much SJW stuff. Like, Supergirl is dope on her own. You don't have to do all this extra stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Batwoman she's dope on her own. You don't have to do all this extra stuff. She's like, the first freaking trailer, she's like, oh, this suit is perfect. And she's like, no, it's perfect when it fits a woman. No, it was made for a guy named Bruce Wayne. It was already perfect. It wasn't made for you. Yeah. So it's not going to be perfect when it fits you.
Right.
Like, come on. You're just messing everything up.
Well, we've been going for quite a while now.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about, or anything that you want to promote, or
I just want to talk about the Junkie Gems real quick. Junkie Gems, it's kind of my brand name. It's this ideal. It's part of the brand, and I have a record label that I'm working on, Junkie Gems Entertainment. We have a page on Facebook, but it's pretty much bare bones right now. I'm focusing on Junkie Dave at the moment. Once I get my project out the window, then I'll start working on the record label. I want to end up behind the scenes, but the Junkie Gems, the brand, what it's about, the gem right here, you see the shape of it. It's reminiscent of Superman's, S emblem on his chest.
Yep.
And that's just
weaving it all together.
Yeah, it's like a little Easter egg, and the idea of Superman, you know what I mean, being the last of his kind, and looking like a regular person, but having this immense power inside of him, you know what I mean? Yeah. And what he stands for, and kind of reminds me of I'm big on not religion, but like spirituality, like God and all that.
Right.
And I believe I have a mission to help and reach other people. And I want other people to realize that that gem is more about being a diamond in the rough. You know what I mean? It's a junkie gem. You hear the junkie has that bad connotation. You think of somebody who's not taking care of themselves. You might think of somebody on the side of the road. You know what I mean? Right. But the gem is something valuable. And I think about the diamond in the rough. Like you go into a mine, you can go into the store, Zales, and buy a nice cut diamond. It's all shiny and polished, but you got to pay a lot of money for it. Yep. Or you go into the mine and you don't got to pay any money for it, but you got to put in that work. You got to take your pickaxe, you got to put in that work and dig it out. You got to dig deep for it, and you get it, and you take off the impurities, you shine it up, you can cut it if you know how to cut it, and then you have a valuable gem right there in plain sight, and nobody's willing to put in that work. So some people got it easier, some people don't. And my idea with the Junkie Gems is that we are all gems. We all have that gem inside, and other people might not be able to see it. And you might not even see it sometimes, but it's in there. And if you put in that work, and you grow and you put in that time and have the patience, you can have that gem shine. You can have other people see the brilliance of your gem, the beauty of your gem. But you got to take that time and put in the work. And that's kind of what the Junkie Dave process is right now. I'm in the grind mode. I'm putting in work, and I'm trying to reach people. Back in the day, I was in the church heavy, and I was in there to the point where 2 different churches asked me to preach. I was up on the altar. I was preaching. I did a couple of my songs in one church in New York, upstate New York. I did I did a couple of songs in Florida at a church. Like I've been in that life. I've seen it. I've got to experience it. The first time I read the Bible, I was actually in jail. I was in the county jail, and I was just reading mad books and running through them because I was just bored. So I would just read books. And then this one guy was like, "Hey, you should try to get a Bible." I'm like, whatever. I'm not about to read the Bible. That's so cliche. You know what I mean? But he was an Indian guy, like a Native American guy. He got me to read it. And it was interesting the way he did it because he knew I was, intellectual. So he would be like, all right, I offered him to read it. He don't want to read it, but he's an intellectual. So he's like, hey, what do you think about this line? I don't really understand it. And I'm looking at him, reading. I'm like, oh, man, that's interesting. He's like, yeah, you can borrow mine whenever you want. I'm like, all right. That's how he got me.
He fucking duped you, man.
Yeah. So I ended up.
He did the old, hey, look at this hand. What are you? This hand here, and then this hand here. Like
the Bible, it says that though. It says, that he's going to teach you how to become a fisher of men. So I always thought that was dope. That's part of the Junkie Dave thing too. I'm a Bible junkie. I love the Bible. The Bible's dope. The church got it confused a lot, so I don't really vibe out with the church so much. But I understand the concept of it. I believe church is a boot camp. I believe that's like our elementary school where we learn all these things. And then you got to graduate and leave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't just stay there. Like, so
my
point is I want to reach the people that the church doesn't reach. You know what I mean? The church, they wait till you come to church. They wait till you already know God, and they're talking to people who already believe and they already, do all these things. So you're not really doing any work. I remember this one time, I was in the trap house chilling, we were smoking and everything. But before, when I walked in, I had a button-up shirt, and it was like, "Well, you just coming from church?" I'm like, "Church?" I'm like, "Why you say that?" I was like, "You got the button up." And then I quoted a scripture. I'm like, "Do you not know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit and that He dwells in you?" They were like, "Word?" It was like, "What does that mean?" So I was like, "You never heard that?" They're like, "No." So I sat there and I'm talking to them. And I just remember looking, and they're all sitting down. It's like 5 or 6 of them. They're sitting down like in a little semicircle, and I'm standing and I'm talking to them about things in the Bible and spirituality. And they have this look of like wonderment in their eyes. And I can like kind of see like energy moving back and forth in between them. They're asking me questions. And I'm like, wow.
So what you're saying is you almost started a cult in the trap house?
Exactly, a junkie cult.
A junkie cult in the trap house.
Yeah, so it was kind of cool to see that. Like, I'm preaching to these guys right now, and it's not like I chose it, or not. It just literally happened in conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I get hyped, and we're just talking, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. And these are the same people that they have family members that be like, oh, you should come to the church. They'd be like, I ain't going to the church. It's a bunch of hypocrites in there. Yeah. I'm like, I'm reaching these people and they're getting information. And these are the people that wouldn't go to the church. They don't want to go to the church.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They see the church as the enemy.
I think that's the biggest problem with religion today, or, the church today, is there is a lot of church people, and I'm going to be generous. I'm not going to say all of them, but there's a lot of church people that don't realize that, we're all sinners. We're not perfect people. Human beings are not perfect people. There's no possible way in this world that we could be everything that God says that we should be or can be. We can't do it. He made us with those impurities and those imperfections. We're all sinners. Now that doesn't mean to just, do what the fuck that you want to do.
Right.
But there's a lot of hypocritical, like you see it. It's all over fucking Facebook. The fucking Karens on fucking Facebook. I call everything Karen. Anything that's in opposition is Karen to me. So like you have your political Karens, you have your snitching Karens, you have your Facebook Karens, and then you have your religious Karens who think that they're the cream of the crop, that they're literally, God's second hand, or right. God's right hand. Like I had a guy a couple weeks ago. It was on a buddy of mine's post, and he literally said that he is the word of God.
Oh yeah, he's bugging. I mean, technically, like if you want to
he was saying that, I'm wrong in everything that I'd say and do because he is the word of God. Like he is the purest form of the word of God, and he knows exactly what is right and what is not. And I'm like, bruh.
Yeah, he's tripping.
You're not even, I go, if God was to come down, if he was to come down right now and stand between me and you, he would probably look at you and laugh at you.
Dude, there's Bible scripture. It says that there's people out there that cast out demons in Jesus' name and do all this stuff in Jesus' name. But when he comes back, he's going to be like, I never knew you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're doing all this to hype up yourself, to make yourself look good. You're doing it for the wrong reason. Everything is about love. And that's something dope. Like everybody gets caught up on the 10 Commandments and all this other stuff. But when they asked Jesus, they asked him, they were trying to trick him, trying to catch him up in a lie. They're like, hey, what's the greatest commandment there is? He's like, there's two. One is love God, don't put anybody above God, and the second one is to love your neighbor as yourself. And if you do the first one, then you're going to do the second one, because the second one, your neighbors are God's children too.
And another thing, like a lot of people don't like, who was the people that persecuted? Who you'd be able to answer this? Who is the people that persecuted Jesus Christ? Who's the people that hung him from that cross?
His own people.
His own people. The church, the religious people.
Yep.
The banks, the banksters, the dirty scourge of the world at that time. Those were the people that persecuted him.
And it was the people that had all that dirtiness inside. On the outside, they were dressed in the royal priesthood robes and all of this stuff. But the people that Jesus hung out with, they were the people that everybody looked at as scum. The tax collectors, the fishermen, people who were
the whores.
You know what I mean? He hung out with the people that the world neglected.
So what you're saying is that Jesus essentially hung out with the junkies.
Yes, and that's part of Junkie Dave too.
And I think
it's all connected.
I think that's a great place to end it.
Right.
Man, I've had a good talk with you. I appreciate you, brother. I wish you all the best in the world. And everybody who's listened to this and has gotten this far, go check out Junkie Dave on Facebook. Go check him out he's on Facebook at The Real Junkie Dave. He's got a Facebook page, Instagram page, Junkie Dave on Instagram. He's got a YouTube channel, Junkie Dave on YouTube. Go check him out. And if you got Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, or any of these other things that you happen to listen to music on, please, if you don't do anything for the rest of the day, please go listen to the couple of tracks that he has on there. And if you can, purchase them. Send my man a couple of ducats. Everybody out there, if you got it, cool. If you don't got it, cool. Just stream it, because you know what? That helps out his shit.
Right, right. SoundCloud, just type in Junkie Dave. There's extra music on there.
And
I get real deep and personal on there. So
just go out and help. You guys know me. I'm always about trying to help people follow their dreams and push for the betterment of themselves. And no matter what you do, my man's out here trying to do his thing, trying to get his goals. So if you guys want to support me, I ask you guys as friends and fans and family of mine to go out and support my man, Junkie Dave, and ride with him like you ride with me, because he's definitely a cool dude. And hopefully we had a good time here, and hopefully he'll come back on again and we can do it again when he gets a little bit further down his road.
I appreciate it. And to all my supporters, the same. I can testify to this man helping me. I didn't know what I was doing, and I reached out to him, and he didn't hesitate. He was like, I got you. He was like, he laid down everything for me.
Ride or die, man. Ride or die.
I appreciate that.
Ride or die. My whole thing is, I'll leave it with this, guys and gals out there. So we're all inclusive here. Guys, gals, and whatever else you guys want to call yourselves. Z's and Zers. You guys are here too. No matter what you got in life, no matter what you got going in life, whether you're like me, a guy, a short, fat white guy living in Southeast Missouri, from Podunk, Missouri, or you're living out on the East Coast, West Coast, rich, small, black, white. If you got a goal in your life and a dream in your life, fight for it. Go out and hustle, grind, and push as hard as you possibly can. It's going to be hard, y'all. It's going to be hard. You might not get there, but that's not the point. The point is actually going out and trying it. You never know what can come of your life if you don't actually fucking try. And I'm asking you guys to try for your life. Not my life, not for Junkie Dave's life, but for your life. If you want to better your life, you got to wake up every morning and you got to get in the proverbial ring and fight for it. Every day you wake up is a fight, man, and you gotta act accordingly. You always gotta come out with your dukes up and ready to swing. And I appreciate you guys, and I thank you guys for stopping by. Much love, peace out, everybody. Take care, Junkie Dave. Let these
I'm out.
Sing us out, man. Sing us out.
I'm I'm a junkie for your touch, junkie for your lips, the ones upon your face, the ones below your hips. Got me feeding for your body, baby. Can I get a hit? I can't wait to taste the juices running down your leg. They say I'm nasty, yeah, yeah.